Hello.
Hi. How
How
are
are
you?
you?
I'm all right. Yes, I've got a new background
You
today.
do.
Yeah, I'm in the East Wing today.
Oh, sounds fancy.
I know, right? So fancy. How are you doing?
I'm okay. How are you?
Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us. I'm really good and I'm really, really excited about this week. Yay! Who have we got on, Sam?
We have Brook Mitchell, author of Mother Faker. She's done comedy, acting, screenwriting. She's done it all. And
Yeah.
we are so lucky to be speaking with her.
We really are, my goodness me. So she was recently on BBC Radio 4 Women's Hour. So I listened to
Yes.
that and it was absolutely amazing. The book is hilarious. It's so funny, but it's also really profound, actually. And it covers so many interesting topical issues. And there's so
Mhm.
much to discuss, really. She really has nailed something really fresh and unique.
Yeah,
So I'm excited to meet her.
I know. I I think I've already said with you, like I went to the baby shower, book shower event. She is the funniest, loveliest human being. And like I was just so taken with the book before I even read it because of her.
Right. So that makes sense because I was wondering what kind of personality would write a book like that. And the protagonist, the main character is problematic in hilarious ways. But I guess you have to really have a heart of gold and just be brilliant. Hello, here's
Hello.
Louise.
Hi.
Hello, Anna, welcome.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I was going all red with all the compliments.
So many more to come.
Yeah, it only gets worse from here, I'm afraid. How are you today, Anna?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Yeah, how are you guys doing?
Good
Yeah.
as well. Really excited to speak to you about all things Mother Faker.
Absolutely. And congratulations on an amazing book.
Oh, thank you. It's so surreal. I mean, I'm sure authors say this all the time, but I don't know if it's even still sunk in yet. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just so surreal. You just sort of see it on a bookshelf somewhere and you're like, what?
Yeah.
Is that mine?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
also, like, it takes years, doesn't it? It takes so long. So to finally see the actual thing, in real, yeah, in the flesh really is amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. Yeah. And I think it's, yeah, just when it starts hitting the readers, that's when you start to go, okay, people are actually, it's so surreal that people you
Yeah,
don't know are
Yeah.
reading it. Yeah.
absolutely. So maybe for people who have tuned in that haven't picked up Mother Faker yet, do you want to kind of explain the premise of the story a bit?
Yes. So Mother Faker follows Barry Brown, and she is an antisocial school teacher who doesn't want to have children, but she decides to fake a pregnancy to get a year off work. That's the
Brilliant.
premise.
In a nutshell, I
In a
love it.
nutshell.
Yeah. Love it.
I
And
love that.
it is such a great premise and it's so well executed as well. Can you kind of tell us what the jumping off point was for it? Like, what was the nugget of the idea that kind of started it all off?
Yeah, it's an interesting one because I actually had the idea a long time ago. I was in my mid-20s and I was working in an office and I picked up on this sort of almost like taboo tension between the parents and the non-parents in the office and this sort of like quiet expectation that the non-parents would cover. And like obviously it is a taboo thing because it's hard, like work like life and work is really hard for parents, but I think there's always this kind of silent expectation that other people kind of pick up the slack. And so I thought, oh, wouldn't that be quite cool if somebody sort of one day pretended to be pregnant just to get the maternity leave as a kind of way of like, I suppose, sort of redressing the balance.
Yeah.
And at the time, it was just sort of an idea. But I was, not in that headspace to really be thinking about those things. I was so young. And I think as I got older and, I was in my mid 30s when I started writing it. And, I think it's really, obviously, it's a very, very privileged position to be in to be on the fence about whether you want to have children or not. Obviously, there are people who would love to and can't. And but it's also, I think when you are somebody who doesn't know, I think you can feel a bit like a freak
Mm.
because you hear about people who are broody and who are born to be mothers and like they just have this sort of need and urge to carry a child and like I've never had that. feeling, and I think you can sometimes be made to feel othered and a bit like you're a bit weird. And so you obviously, you look to fiction, don't you, to kind of read and see about, people who might be like you. And I say I did that, and there were loads of stories about mums, and there were loads of stories about people who wanted to be mums, but there was nothing where somebody was sort of unapologetically child free by choice, front and center of a book, and that they had made that decision and they were 100% okay with it, because that's what I needed to read. And so when there wasn't anything, I was like, well, I'm just going to write the book that I want to read, because I feel like there must be other people out there who are like me, who want that and need that representation. So yeah.
Brilliant.
And it's done so well. Like obviously Barry isn't very likable at the beginning. She's a bit prickly, but
Yeah.
yet you still love her. And like that just intensifies the whole way through. Like about the midpoint of the book, I was so fiercely protective of this character, despite the questionable choices or like the prickliness, everything. I loved her. And
Yeah.
like
Thank you.
I think that was quite hard to do, like with it being such a sensitive topic, but you did it so well. But
Oh,
like,
thanks.
what part of the writing process was it that you realized it was something so much deeper than just the fake pregnancy itself?
Yeah, it's a really good question, because when I sat down to write it, it was just going to be this rebellious comedy caper. I just wanted to articulate all the ways I feel frustrated being someone in the world who doesn't have children. Like, that's all it was going to be. But actually, I think because Barry is the character she is, and I think she demanded more from me as I was writing, and I kind of realized that actually I was doing her a disservice by not delving into sort of like what was really at the core of like why she's so lonely and why she's cut herself off from the community around her. And so yeah, I think yeah, it's just sort of, and writers do say it, and it does happen, like the characters begin to tell you sort of what, and I found this husband, and I and the grief of her dad and losing him, and like all those things, I think they really kind of fed into it. And yeah, it then became this much more sort of emotional book than what I had set out to write. But then I like reading books that have comedy and heart. That's like my sweet spot, so I guess it made sense that I ended up writing a book like that as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so well executed.
Uh-huh.
Oh, thank
Um,
you.
yeah. I mean,
I
Barry,
mean,
yeah, go on.
well, we had to tone her down. She was really spiky in those first three I mean, she is not like, but if you could read what she was like before, I did a lot of work with my agent, just toning her down a tiny bit, because when it was on submission to agents, I had quite a few agents who were really excited about the premise and then read the first three chapters and were a bit like, oh, like and so that was really actually quite helpful feedback, because
Yeah.
then I realized that she was just too much. And I think I do say it to people sometimes, I say to people, look, stick with her.
Yeah.
She's so spiky, but just stick with her. And and I think because the premise, like, it makes you like, is she going to get away with it? I think it's enough to like keep people turning the pages. And so
Mm,
hopefully like they do, and then they kind of grow to love her. So yeah, but I think
absolutely.
she is really likable, really. She's such a good egg, and she
Yeah.
just, yeah,
She really
misunderstood.
is. Well, she is misunderstood, and I think you've presented that so brilliantly. I mean, as you said, there's heaps of comedy and heaps of heart in it as well. And it takes you somewhere that you don't expect. And it's so intelligent where it takes you. And there's so much to be said about Barry. I mean, first of all, the name is just chef's kiss. I mean, really, that in itself is just such a great premise, and just this whole kind of journey with the fact that if you write it down, it looks very elegant, and if you say it, it sounds like Barry, and that in itself is just brilliant. But beyond that, I think what I absolutely loved is this sense of, I found her spikiness hilarious anyway, and also the way it was timed. And it was really interesting to hear that you kind of had to modify it and rein it in. And, that's another question and what have you. But what's interesting, I think, is that the moments where she's often giving quite a lot of unsolicited feedback to people. It's often at a heightened moment for herself. So there's one scene where she's like rushing out of a building. She's really upset, but she has to pause to just let someone know that the car that they're driving is completely inappropriate for this kind of island. And that for me is just brilliant because it never gets too sentimental either. But you see this person struggling with the fact that she has just so much feedback for everybody and so much criticism. But more than that, what you realize is that judgment and that spikiness is protection and shield, you know, and also has come from something much more complex, which I did not expect at all. And I thought was incredibly intelligent because then that sense of the unreliable narrator went somewhere new. And so I understood why someone might end up being spiky. And I think I'm quite spiky at times as well. And it takes a real, you know, particular person to take the time to kind of figure out why you might be like that, which I thought was beautifully executed.
Oh, thank
100%.
you. I think,
Maybe
like, yeah,
go
sorry,
on.
carry on. Well, I was just going to say, I think everyone just maybe wishes they could be a little bit more Barry secretly. I wish that I could be so unapologetically like
Yeah.
open like that. I could never be like that. I'm such an overthinker. It's quite liberating writing a character like her.
We
I want
said
to know a
Um,
Barry.
yeah.
yeah,
I don't think I could be a Barry, but I want to know a Barry.
I want to be her mate. I don't want to be her colleague.
I think that's
Fair.
fair. I think that's quite fair.
Yeah.
Very fair. Um, could you tell us more about like that kind of balance between, because I she does so, it's not just what she says and how spiky she is, but you know she goes to a lot of extremes. She does really extreme things, you know, a lot of extreme things, you know, and the fake pregnancy is just one of many. But was there also a kind of a sense of you having to rein it in at times, and was that an ongoing discussion or not? You know, did you just feel like, you know, you kind of nailed it quite early? What was that like?
I think that when you are writing something that could be hurtful to people, you know, because like it is the idea of it is quite shocking. And like, I think I just very much kept in my mind the whole time, sort of like the rules that Barry sets for herself. I think her setting those rules about, you know, she's never going to lie and say something, you know, the babies have died and things like that. I think, sorry, I think it's like really important. And I think once she had that sort of code of conduct framework around her, I think it meant that she could break the rules in a certain way, but I never took her over that line. And I think the most important thing with all of these things, especially when you're writing on the edge of something quite controversial, is to come at it with real empathy. Especially,
Mhm.
I was never actually ever concerned about offending parents, because I think they're quite, you know, a lot of parents have read the book and really love it, and you know it does offend some, but I kind of feel like, well, you know, there's, I think that you're not punching down on parents, like I'm punching up really, and so I think it's okay. But with people who, you know, had either lost a child or want to have children and can't, like those people, I kept them at the front of my head and in my heart, like the whole time I was writing. And that was really, really important to me. And obviously, it's not my experience, so I don't touch on it a lot in the book, but it was important to me that, like, I'd never crossed that line and that Barry never crossed that line either. And that
Yeah.
was, yeah.
Beautiful.
The book, obviously, as we've mentioned, tackles expectations on motherhood and what it means to be a woman and know that you don't want children. But what
Mm.
conversations did you hope that that might spark?
Oh, we can't hear
Oh,
you.
Can you hear me
Hello.
now?
oh
Yes, we
yeah.
can. Yeah.
Okay, good. My Siri just came on for some reason. Sorry. But what was the question? Sorry, Sam.
What conversations were you hoping that the book would spark around motherhood and knowing that you
Yeah,
just don't want children?
I think we need to talk about it more. I think we need
Yeah.
to normalize that feeling of not wanting children, and like making people feel that that's an okay thing. I think there is a lot of pressure on women to have children, and it's a horrible feeling, you know. And there's a lot of scrutiny around that, and I think we need to talk about that more. I also think what we really need to be talking about is the people in our lives who are not our biological parents, but who play an important part in shaping who we are as people. You know, I had an auntie, I had an auntie who didn't have children herself, but you know, we were like her children, and she very sadly died, and it was devastating, that loss. And people didn't, not everyone understood how devastating that loss was, because we don't value those relationships in the same way. And it's crazy, because like we've all got people in our lives, like whether they're teachers or step parents or, you know, family, friends, like all of those kind of people who really do make their mark. And I think we need to talk about, how are we celebrating those people? How are we showing up for those people in a way, just because they're not conforming? Like, it doesn't, first of all, it doesn't mean they don't add value. And it's also like, how can we find those markers to celebrate those people? I think that's really important, and we don't talk about it enough.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness, fully agree.
100% agree. I also think it's so fascinating the way just the rhetoric around "you'll change your mind," which is ever
Oh,
present in the book.
Yeah.
yeah. And also it drives me mad, because everyone has got an opinion on it, and you're
Mhm.
like so offended by it. So my setup on my I'm such a rubbish person. I've got like no good setup it. But you know, everybody's got an opinion on it, and
Yeah.
it's like, actually, people who choose not to have children have put so much more thought into it, 9 times out of 10, than people who just have kids. Like, so many of my friends, I'm like, did you think about it? And they're like, no, I just did it. I never thought it through. And I think that's crazy.
Mhm.
And then it was really interesting, because I was chatting with my family once, and my partner and I, we were saying that we were talking about how we might get a dog. And they were like, oh, but have you thought about, you know, how hard that's going to be? And you're never going to be able to go on holiday, and not going to be able to leave the house because you'll have a dog. And I was like, isn't it interesting that, like, you're all sat here interrogating that decision? But if we sat down and said, oh, we're trying for a baby, you'd all just be like, ah! And it's like, it's because everyone's always so happy and excited, obviously, to have a new baby in the family. But I actually think we're doing each other a disservice by not being a bit more like, have you thought about how fucking hard this is going to be? Like,
Uh-huh.
and like, I think the child free by choice people have thought about it. And so
Yeah.
when people are like, oh, but you know, you might wait too long and then change your mind, and then it'll be too late, and they say it to you as if it's this profound thing that only they could possibly have, as if you haven't thought of that
Uh-huh.
yourself,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. It's
As if
maddening.
everything hasn't been thought through for the past, like, the entirety of like your adult life.
Yeah, and it's, you know, and it's true, like we all think about it all the time. I mean, you literally, you hit your 30s and your fertility is like the front, and I still think about it all the time. And I
Mhm.
don't think I'll stop thinking about it until I can't physically, you know. I just think that it's just always going to be a thing.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
made a thing by so many people. You're absolutely right. I
Yeah.
fully agree with you. And you know, so many of us have complex relationships with parents who maybe
Yeah.
didn't think things through, you know, enough. And like you said, that those wonderful, nuanced relationships with people who aren't genetically related to you necessarily, or are, and just are a little bit more at a distance than your parents. But also, I think what you do very, very, very well is the flip of that, which is those people who are maternal in so many different ways, you know, the teachers, of as you said, you know, the aunties, you know, the people that just are carers and care, and are naturally nurturing. And also an extension of that is almost that the nurturing is a part of those very well thought out decisions not to be a parent almost.
Yeah.
um, and I thought that was beautifully put. You know, this person that is on such a complex journey herself is just full of care for the young people around her.
Yeah, and I think that was really important for me. Like, I wanted to make her a really good teacher. And she is. I think she is such a good teacher, and there's that real juxtaposition there, because but people are always, it's really interesting, because people are like, oh, she hates kids, she hates kids. Barry doesn't hate kids. Barry finds parents annoying, and not all parents, just parents who are a bit thoughtless and think that all the space in the world is theirs. Like
Yeah.
that's what she finds annoying.
Yeah.
But she loves kids, and with Callum, she for people who don't know, she sort of develops this relationship with one of her pupils, and she, you know, I think I really wanted to show that positivity that can come out through care and through just a teacher just taking a chance on you, because teachers do that all the time. The
Yeah.
good ones, you
Yeah.
know.
And
um
that in itself really like hit home for me. Not like with my cousin, like he's called Callum as well, so it's very like
ah
I was like, oh, um, but he was that kind of kid, and there was a teacher like that. So I was reading that and I was like, this is so real. Like this
mm,
this really happens, and like it's not that far removed from real life.
yeah. And the other thing I really wanted was to show a step parent who really was like maternal, because I think, you know, Trish, and I wanted to show, I suppose I had like all these different ways of kind of showing these people who are not, you know, biological parents, but and that, for Trish, you know, she is maternally 100% all in for her stepdaughter, and like that was really important as well, because I think fiction often does the dirty on step parents.
Yeah.
um
Absolutely.
and you know, obviously there are some real bad step parents around, but there are actually also some really good ones, and you
Absolutely.
know.
The
And
wicked
also,
stepmother trope goes hard.
exactly, you've reversed that completely, which is beautiful. I remember reading something in a non-fiction book about the fact that it just takes one adult in a child's life who is often not the parent if the parents are troubled, to show some love, but also just some belief in them. And
Yeah.
that can change the trajectory of a child's life completely. Even if everybody else in their life just doesn't show them any of that. A grandparent, a teacher, an auntie, and, you know, a significant adult, as long as they kind of express some sense that this child has promise and that they have a belief in them as a good person, as a worthwhile person, that can quite literally change the trajectory.
And isn't that amazing? Like
Yeah.
it's amazing, and that's why I think it's so important to be talking about this stuff, because you know there are people out there in the world right now who would love to have kids and can't, and like feel rubbish about that, and then but you know they are probably still adding value to so many lives, but
Yeah.
it's just maybe just going unsaid.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, and also
100%.
just to add, I just think that sense of a nuclear family is so limited nowadays, isn't it? And like
Yeah.
Sam and I have spoke so widely, you know, about what the family unit is for both of us, you know, and that sometimes actually those that are part of that nuclear family sometimes are not actually influencing that many people outside of their little kind of circle and realm. So
Hmm.
that's sometimes more limited in a way.
Yeah, definitely.
100%. Obviously, we can't let this pass without mentioning Guernsey. And I now really want to go to Guernsey, and I want to see the post boxes. I want to do it all. Um, but why was it so important that you set it in Guernsey? Because now I can't picture anywhere else.
Yeah. I think Guernsey. So my mum is from there, and so it's one of my favourite places in the whole world. Like my family, a lot of my family are from there, still live there. My grandma sort of lived through the German occupation, so she was yeah, a teenager
Oh,
when
wow.
that happened. So it was crazy sort of time and experience, and um, a number of reasons. So one of the reasons is I wanted to spend a lot of time there in my head. I think when you're writing a debut novel, it's really good to have something familiar that anchors you. And so for me, like that really anchored me in something that I knew really intimately. And it just meant that it was like, it was almost like another character, I suppose, in the book,
Yeah.
but it was one I knew so well. I love the idea of setting it there because it's such a nosy island. And so the idea of somebody having to keep a secret like this is just torture. And you know, they
Hmm.
always say torture your characters. So you know, it just makes it so much harder for her, which is kind of ideal. And then the other reason is I feel like literature has kind of done the dirty a little bit on Guernsey, because there have been a few portrayals sort of in books and also on film, TV, that aren't necessarily the most accurate. And so I wanted to write something that actually was truly authentic to the island and felt like the island. And I went to the literature festival a couple of weeks ago. It's a great festival. I really recommend it. And it was amazing actually talking to people who are actually from there, who actually sort of said to me, I see, like it felt so real to me. And I was like, I've done it. Like I was so happy with that because
So
that's what
lovely.
I wanted to do. And yeah, and I want it to be a love letter and I want people to read it and want to go there. Just go when the weather's good. Don't go there in the rain. It's rubbish in the rain.
That is exactly how it felt, a love letter to Guernsey. And I'm being so serious. I need to go this year.
Yeah, go. Go. I'll give you all the tips.
Please do.
Um, can we talk more about comedy?
Mm.
Because I think it's just one of the hardest and most precious uh, genres, and very, very hard to do, but isn't given the respect I think that it deserves. And you've spoken about the fact that, you know, in this book in particular, you wanted to get that balance between comedy and heart, which you've done really, really well. And I wonder if we can just talk first of all about what it's like to work in comedy, to write comedy, but also why comedy is so important in a story like this.
Yeah, it's a good question. I think the thing with comedy is it's so subjective.
Yeah.
And so you just as a comedy, as somebody who writes comedy, you just have to accept that not everyone is gonna like it. There are going to be people who are gonna like read or watch something you've written and they're gonna go, this isn't funny. And like you just have to accept it. Um and that can be humbling. But I think comedy, I mean, like in an ideal world, like I think with a book, I'd like to try and make people laugh and make them cry, but I want to make them laugh lots and just cry a little bit.
Yeah,
You know,
lovely.
because it's more fun making people laugh than it is making them cry. But I think comedy is a really useful tool to sort of get into the grittiness of more difficult topics. You know, um, it can somehow make things feel more truthful. I think because, you know, we've all been in situations where we've been at a funeral and we started laughing because something funny has happened and you just, like, it's just, there's this sort of very fine line sometimes between tragedy and comedy. And I think,
Mhm.
I don't know, it's something that everyone can kind of relate to. And I think it just makes it easier for people to sort of get into difficult topics when you've got some sort of light relief.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. And it brings people on board, doesn't it? You know, if we all share a laugh early on, it's like people are kind of, you know, we're in the same boat and we can kind of then take them to choppier waters kind of thing. Oh God, what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you get it.
Yeah, no, but it's true, and you know, comedy characters. But some of my favorite, I don't know about you guys, but like some of my favorite characters ever are in sitcoms and
Yeah,
comedy shows. You
Same.
know, so
absolutely.
they're lovable, and you're like and if you think about all the people in your life who you love, like they often they've got this like comedic something about them that's just quirky or funny or and so you're just dialing those things up and that's you know it's fun as a writer to
Absolutely.
do that and but it's always got to come from a place of truth. I think comedy, the minute you trying to make a character do something funny but it's not in keeping with what their character does, the reader knows instantly, the audience knows straight away and they're just like they're out, you lose
Yeah,
Yeah.
them. So it's yeah, it's a skill for sure.
absolutely.
Um
And one that you do very, very well because I laughed so hard. And one of the funniest parts for me, like where I just belly laughed for about 10 minutes, was a trying the bumps on with all the
yeah.
different names. I was crying. And I don't know what, like, I'm not a belly laughing at a book kind of girl. I'll be like, hee hee, and move on. But I was fully sobbing at this part of the book as if, like, I don't even know. Like, it was just so funny to me. Um,
Aw.
but what was one of the scenes that you wrote that you found funny while writing?
There's a couple. There was the one where because you obviously like it's stupid, but actually as a, you do have to find it funny yourself. like,
Right.
you know, you have to be able to laugh at your own jokes. Like, obviously there's like this thing where I don't laugh at your own jokes, but you kind of do. So if you don't find it funny, then like, um but I really enjoyed there's a bit where she thinks that they've thrown her a baby shower, but it's not for her. I
Oh,
enjoyed
yeah.
I
Yeah.
enjoyed that one.
Yeah.
um and also there's a scene where she gets her period and she doesn't have any tampons or sanitary towels, and that goes horribly wrong for her. Like, that was a lot of fun. I thought, oh, can I do this? Like, and the other one was the police. She gets sort of strip searched. That was,
Oh,
Yes.
yes.
yeah, that was another one. And actually, I actually had in my first draft, I actually had the police officer also doing an internal examination, but that ended up getting cut by my editor.
I
Because
remember that
it
moment
was
where
a
she's going
teaser.
to, and then she
Yeah.
pulls back. Yeah, now
That's
we
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. So she did originally, but then she doesn't in the end.
Brilliant. Brilliant.
Maybe, yeah.
Now, you are somebody who kind of works in several different fields and balances several
Mm.
different things. You write sketch comedy as well with a partner. You write books, obviously, script work. You're an actor as well. And are you also a PA? Is that right?
Yeah. At the moment, yeah.
What? Like,
Yeah.
how do you juggle all of that? How do you balance it? And how do they differ? And how do they maybe complement each other, would you say?
Yeah, it's a really good question. So juggling it is awful. It's really difficult. And there was a point before Christmas where I was publicizing this book, and I was we were filming a short film in France. So
Wow.
we were planning a lot. We were directing it, we were in it, we were producing it. Me and my writing, for screen, I have a writing partner. And then we were working on the treatment for the adaptation of Mother Faker, which had been optioned. We were in a film lab. We were like redrafting a film script. I was also trying to write my next book, and was working 4 days a week as a PA. So it was just like, and it got
Wow.
to a point where I was just like, actually, this is too much.
Yeah, see?
And so I stopped I stopped my second book for a bit, and had and just concentrated on all the stuff kind of I had to do. But interestingly, the PA job, like, people, if you listen to the Radio 4 interview, she was really, when are you going to quit? Are you going to quit? And I was like, well, all of my colleagues are listening, including my boss. So, but actually, at the moment, I don't have any plans to quit that job, because I love having like one foot in the real world. I think as a writer, it's very solitary. Or you're on your own. But in that job, I get to go into an office, and I work with lots of really interesting, lovely people who are very bright and doing something completely different to me, and it gives me a real insight into the world, and I think that's really valuable.
Mm.
And then with the acting, interestingly, I would say the reason acting has helped me is mostly actually in the smaller characters, because I was an unsuccessful actor. I still act. God, I hope my agent's not watching. I still do act, but I go up for like one lines,
Yeah.
like a one line in Bridgerton or something like that. Like, and so, but what happens is, when you're only reading one line, like, the character, you're like, what have I got to hold on to here? Like, there's nothing a lot of the time. And so when the writing is good and they give you like something really specific, even if you're going on and doing like one line in a scene, it is such a gift for an actor. And so when I'm writing those smaller parts in a book and those smaller characters, I'm always thinking to myself, if I was coming in just in a day to come and shoot this one line, would I find this interesting and fulfilling as an actor? And so, like, that's something that I found really helpful, writing those characters, because I always want to give them like a little quirk or something else going on for them that sort of feeds into, and I think it gives it like a richer, hopefully like a richer sort of feel to it. So yeah.
Absolutely. I think you've nailed that. When I think of all the kind of secondary characters, I can see them so clearly, whether it's
Mhm.
Trish, whether it's the mum, whether it's Lara, whether it's her nephews, whether it's her work colleagues, whether it's, even her dad who's not there anymore, and kind of his memory. You've really nailed all of that. I can really see how that would feed into what you've done.
Yeah. And then the screenwriting feeds in a lot as well, because you have to be so sparse with screenwriting. You have to be so strict. And so actually with writing a book, it's quite liberating because you're suddenly inside someone's head. And so you have like that, and it's just so different, that it feels so different, that it doesn't conflict with it, because it's just a completely different medium.
Yeah.
But it does, obviously, like structure and story and all those things are the same. So that's been quite helpful as well. So yeah. So it's
Love.
stressful, but it does all feed it. So it's worth it, even though it is busy.
Very busy.
Sounds it.
Now, you
Yeah.
mentioned that Mother Faker is up for optioning.
Mm,
Should it get picked up for TV, do you have
yes.
a dream person in mind for Barry?
Yes, I'm going to break your partner's heart here, because
No.
no, I think Sophie Willan would be absolutely amazing. The problem
She
is
would.
with TV, it takes years. So by the time this gets made, Sophie Willan will be the wrong age, sadly. But I do love her so much.
I can hear a
Um,
heart breaking
I
somewhere.
know. I'm so sorry. But I really love, well, I had a few people on the list. Like Amy Lee Wood is somebody,
Oh,
yeah. Mia
Great.
McKenna Bruce. Do you know Mia McKenna Bruce? She was in
mm,
the Agatha Christie thing on Netflix recently.
oh, I think I
And she's
do.
in How to Have Sex. She's incredible in it. If you haven't watched How to Have Sex, it's just one of the best films I've seen in ages. It's
Mm.
so good. Also, Ella Broccoleri from The Other Bennett Sister.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
good
She's
choices.
so bang on the money for Barry. She's so bang on the money. And she is like, I think she is Barry, but
Yeah,
manifesting. But if you guys
very.
have got thoughts, let me know.
Oh
Well, now I'm sold on Amy Lee Wood.
Yeah, Amy Lee Wood's good.
yeah,
Yeah, no, she is good.
great question.
Oh,
I think your suggestions are strong, very, very strong.
Yeah.
What can you tell us about the adaptation?
Oh well, I can tell you that it's been optioned, yeah, by a really great UK production company. It's just gone
Congratulations.
out. Thanks. It's just gone out to commissioners, I think, very recently. So I think it takes TVs quite slow.
Yeah,
yeah.
So, but it's exciting, and I think I'm quite like these things sort of always have a way of sort of coming back if they don't happen the first time, or if it doesn't work this time, there's other avenues, and maybe it
absolutely.
could be a film, or there's just so many ways you can tell the story. But I'm yeah, hopeful, very hopeful. But one non-negotiable is, I think it should have to be filmed in Guernsey, at least the exteriors.
Yeah,
100%.
um
absolutely. I mean, Guernsey's pretty much a character in this book anyway, right? So yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
It would feel
Um,
sad for it not to be.
I
yeah.
know, but then the Guernsey Literary Potato Peel Pie Society film wasn't filmed there. It was filmed in
Oh,
Branscombe, yeah, in Dorset.
Really?
Yeah,
really? Do
yeah.
you have a sense of, was there a practical reason for that, or?
I think it's probably quite expensive to film over there. I don't know the ins and outs. I think the locals weren't very happy with that, but I think I would imagine if they could have filmed there, they would have. So that, I don't know. There must have been some kind of reason. But yeah,
Prayer circle.
Yeah.
yeah,
Prayer circle for Mother Faker in Guernsey.
yeah, yeah,
Um, can we talk a bit about your inspirations and influences, the people that you admire in terms of their writing and their work,
yeah.
and how that might have informed or shaped your journey as a writer?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really inspired by a lot of sort of TV comedy writers. I mean, Ruth Jones and James Corden, for me, are like Gavin and Stacey is my favorite show ever, and I was so lucky because I got to go. There was a BBC comedy festival last month, and my writing partner and I, we got invited to go, and they were there talking about Gavin and Stacey with the director, and it was just like I was honestly fangirling so much. And
Oh
Alison
my
Sedgman was
God.
there as well, so like we were
Wow.
dying. I was and so definitely them, and obviously because Ruth Jones, she writes books as well, and I love her books. So and then people like Sharon Horgan, Michaela Cole, Daisy May Cooper, I think is a
Yes.
genius.
Oh, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
Sharon
And
Horgan is criminally underrated.
do you think she's
I
underrated?
do. I do.
Really? Oh God.
Yeah.
I don't think she's underrated, but
Controversial opinion.
but I work in the TV world, so everyone's just like Sharon Horgan. But
Yeah,
yeah,
Daisy May Cooper and Michaela Cole are my queens for sure.
yeah, yeah, and I think that's it. And you can be inspired by people outside of a medium. I think that's the thing.
Yeah.
And obviously, but there's loads of I mean, in terms of authors, so many. I mean, Helen Fielding has been a massive influence. I think Bridget Jones is one of the funniest books. It's my favorite. It's the funniest book I've ever read. I just think it's genius. I love David Nichols. I think
Yeah.
he writes women so well. Like, I don't know. Like, you know, there's a in his most recent one, You Were Here, he talks about a woman and she's taken off her sports bra, and like the way he describes like the freedom of it and like the mark, and I'm just like, you are a man who has really paid attention to the women in your life, like and his character. I just think he's brilliant. So many. I mean, I love Charlotte Levin.
Yes,
Charlotte Levin, she's an author. She wrote If I Can't Have You, which is about that girl who like ends up stalking a doctor in the doctor's surgery she works in. I love her writing. I think she's amazing. So many writers.
So many.
Wonderful. And what is it that you picked up from, you know, each of them that you think has kind of informed your style and your writing?
I think it is the thing about the comedy never comes at the cost of the heart.
Yes.
I think comedy always should punch up, and I think the reason, especially why I love Gavin and Stacey so much, is that it's got so much heart to it, but you also, you know, those characters, you just get to know them and you love them like they're your friends. And like, I think if you can write something like that, where somebody reads something and then they're completely bereft when it's finished, I think like that's when you've done the job, you know. And obviously it's not going to have done the job for everybody, but if it does the job for some, then that's enough.
Yeah. And to like for something like Gavin and Stacey to have so long in between as well, and it's just got this army of people behind it waiting.
And they stuck the landing, you know, they nailed that finale. I was in awe of that, like the fact that after all of that and all that pressure and everything, that they just like nailed it. I think it's faultless in my opinion.
Good.
I couldn't agree more.
And that's why I was really lucky, because Laura Aikman, who's in Gavin and Stacey, did my audiobook.
I saw this. I was internally freaking out for you. I was
because I was so lucky because Pam Macmillan asked me who I wanted, and I knew I didn't want to do it, because I feel like I'm a big believer in like the things that are really, really, really important. You need people who are experts, and I've never done an audiobook, and I was like, I just don't want that pressure. Like I'd love to do them, but not my debut. So, and they were like, who would you like? And I was like, immediately, I was just like, Laura, because she is such a good actress, but she's so good at the comedy, but she's also really got that emotional depth as well.
Great.
So and she's really great.
When I saw it was her, I immediately knew I have to like reread and listen to the audiobook.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, and I actually didn't, because I think some authors don't listen to their audiobooks, but I listened to mine. I felt quite like, I don't know, she just did such a great job that I you know, it was just delightful hearing how she read it. So
gorgeous.
So
knowing that you didn't want to narrate your own debut, would you feel like you would do it for the second one?
Yeah, I would. I mean, I would actually. Yeah, I think I would. If it was right, like if I was the right person to do it, I would. Yeah, but I also feel like with Barry, I think she's so different from me. I think if the character was closer to me, I think yes.
Yeah, if it was right.
Yeah. But I think the debut, it's just, I don't know, it's just like your precious thing, isn't it? And I just think trust the experts. Always trust the experts.
Now we have a picture this segment that Sam brilliantly came up with. And Sam, do you want to explain the premise?
So basically, we've scrolled all the way down your Instagram, right back up again, and chose a random picture. And yours is this. And the premise is that there's always a story behind a picture, and we would love to hear the story behind this picture.
Oh yeah, the Women's Hour interview. Oh, do you know, like, there are things that you dream about as an author when you are writing your book, and one of them is like, I love Women's Hour. I've listened to it. I listen to it all the time, and it's just like, I was like, I would just love to be interviewed on Women's Hour. It's just like, and so I'm so lucky at Pan Macmillan, and you guys know the publicity team there and the marketing team, and they are just amazing.
Yeah.
They're like, I just adore them, and I've been so fortunate. This whole process, it's been an absolute dream. But yeah, so that when they told me that I was going to be on Women's Hour, I was so excited. And then it's the weirdest thing because I was the third person on the segment, and so I had a call with the producer the day before, and we went through sort of like, she asked me all the questions and things like that. But I was interviewed by Nuala, and I didn't meet her until we were live on air. So you literally, like,
Wow.
you go in, you sit down, you put the headphones on, and we were in. But she was so good. She like, I just felt like it was just this like focused. She was like looking me right in the eye, and she was just like, and like her questions, she just navigated it amazingly. So I was like able to hit all the points that I needed to hit, and she was really generous and kind, and we had such a good chat afterwards as well. So yeah, it was an amazing experience, terrifying. Um, but no,
So
good. It was
cool,
good.
though.
Very cool. I
Yeah,
mean, you handled it effortlessly, and it was such a great chat. But also, isn't it brilliant when you kind of are in the presence of people who are top of their game at what they do?
yeah,
And often I think with those kind of jobs, especially when you're interviewing people, if you do it well, people don't actually notice how well you're doing it, kind of thing. And
yeah,
to see, that she kind of made it so, or facilitated it for you, is just
yeah. And it was really interesting because, like, when my friends were listening, she asked me a couple of difficult questions, and she asked me one about how, maybe I made the point that communities rally around pregnant people, so therefore people should get pregnant so that they have community. But what you couldn't see was she gave me such a cheeky look, because
got
she knew she was teeing me up, to counter that.
right.
And so yeah, she's just very generous. I mean,
Yeah.
I love
I'm
that.
sure she'd be formidable if she was interviewing a politician, or but
Oh.
she was very kind to me.
Good. Gorgeous. Oh, what a special picture.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What should we do next?
I think we should just jump into the this or that round if
I
you're
think
up for it, Anna.
so.
oh yeah,
Ooh,
Yes.
this is more about your reading preferences as a reader.
okay, yeah,
Oh, hold on a sec because I don't have the questions. Bear with me. Have you got them? I'm so sorry. I
Technical
realized
difficulty.
I'm doing a
that's
drum
the
roll.
one thing that I haven't got.
Well, should we
Bear
jump?
with me.
Should we do the bookish dinner party
Do the biggest dinner
questions?
party. I'm
Yeah.
so sorry.
Oh
I'm going to find the questions right now.
So for the bookish dinner party,
yeah,
set the scene. It's a dinner party in a great big hall, beautiful, all decked out with bookish decorations, just to set the scene. There is
yeah.
10 chairs. One of them is yours. What are the 9 bookish people, authors from the book world, poets, anything? What 9 other people would be sat at your table?
Okay, I would choose Nora Ephron,
Ooh,
Agatha
starting
Chris,
strong.
yeah, Agatha Christie, because I mean, obviously problematic, but I'm fascinated. I would choose Jane Austen, obviously.
Mm,
Um, Sophie Kinsella. I would
Right?
choose
that's a good one.
um, William Shakespeare. I would choose who else? Toni Morrison. How many more have I got? 3.
3.
Um, Ruth Jones.
Yes.
I would choose. I feel like we need some men.
I mean,
Do we?
Maybe not. Maybe like Charles Bukowski, because I think he would just get drunk in the corner and be like really cynical.
Get drunk in the
Um,
corner.
and maybe someone like David Sedaris, because I think he'd be really funny.
Brilliant.
That's a top tier table.
Do you reckon? I didn't when you sent me the questions. I didn't scroll down this far, so that was off the cuff. But I feel like it was okay.
Do you know what? If that was off the cuff, that was very good.
But Nora Ephron would be my number one. I think I would love to have had dinner with her. Yeah.
Do you know what? I forgot to put her on mine. I need an extra chair.
Yeah, you can have an extra chair. You can have an extra.
Totally.
You,
I think
you can
it's
stand
right.
and she can sit.
Yeah, because I think I forgot Toni
Genius.
Morrison, didn't I? So I need
did.
to chair for Toni Morrison.
Yeah,
So we're
that's
good.
allowed.
It's allowed. It's allowed. I found the questions. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
So this is our this or that round, and it's basically a quick fire round. And yeah, just answer as you feel.
Okay.
Or don't if you don't want to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hardback or paperback?
Hardback.
Audiobook or physical book?
Both.
Interesting.
Ebook or physical book?
Physical book.
Loan a book or buy a book?
Ooh. Depends. I like to buy books. I like to own them. Yeah.
Me too. One book on the go or multiple?
Multiple.
Book slag.
We've got another one.
Yeah, join the club. We're getting merch. We'll let you know.
Oh my god, I want a cap.
Certified book slag, Anna Brooke Mitchell.
Yeah. Love it.
One
POV.
POV or multiple POVs?
Ooh. I do like single POV. I do. But yeah, my next book isn't, but I do like a single.
Okay.
First person or third person?
First person.
Romance or fantasy?
Romance.
Short book or chunky book?
Short.
Morning reader or night reader?
Both.
Fast reader or slow reader?
Mid pace.
Read in bed or
Sweet
read
spot.
on the sofa?
What was that, sorry?
Read in bed or read on the sofa?
Ooh, in bed.
Long chapters or short chapters?
Short chapters.
Read with music or read without music?
Without.
Reread or read only once?
Reread.
Series or standalone?
Both. Both.
Yeah.
Fiction or non-fiction?
Fiction.
Crack the spine or keep pristine?
Keep pristine.
Annotate or keep clean?
I don't mind an annotation. Annotate.
Oh,
yeah.
Sam's the queen of annotation.
I know, I saw.
Bookmark or dog ear?
Bookmark. Actually, I would say hardback bookmark. Paperback, I don't mind a little dog ear.
Ooh.
Controversial.
Controversial. Yeah.
Bit rogue, but I respect that.
Thanks.
First edition or special edition?
Ooh. Special.
Ooh.
Biography or self-help?
Neither.
Valid.
Correct.
TBR or mood reader?
Ooh, mood reader.
Adaptations or the book is always better?
It's always better.
That's just a fact.
Buddy read or read alone?
I've never done a buddy read, so read alone, but I'd like to try one.
Escapism or gritty realness?
Escapism.
Summer beach reading or cozy indoor winter reading?
Oh, I love both. Both.
Prize winner or bestseller?
Bestseller. Commercial all the way. Yeah, don't need Booker prizes.
Time jump or linear?
Ooh. Don't mind. Either.
And that's the end of this all round.
Well
And you passed with flying colours.
Yeah. 100%. Well done. Well, it has been such a pleasure, such an absolute pleasure to read your book, first of all, and to talk
Mhm.
with you. So thank you so much, Anna, for all your time.
No, thank you. And honestly, the support has been amazing. I'm blown away by it. And Sam, yeah, thank you for everything. And it's been so nice to meet you, Nina. And yeah, thank you for having me.
Not at all. And
Thank
all
you
the
for coming
best.
on.
Thank you for coming on. All the best for the next book and also the
Thank you.
adaptation.
Thank you. I'll keep
And
you posted.
please
Please
do.
do. I will
Brilliant.
be annotating away on the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th book.
Absolutely.
Fingers crossed.
Thank
And I'll
you.
keep you
Thanks,
updated if
Nina.
I get to Guernsey as well.
Oh my God,
There you
do
go.
I'll be fuming if I see you've gone to Guernsey, you've not asked me where to go, because I'll give you the intel.
No, that would be the first thing. Right, I'm going to go to Guernsey. Okay, Anna.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The expert.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks
you
so
again,
much,
Anna.
babe.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye, bye,
Thank you.
bye, bye.
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 Oh my gosh.
How gorgeous is she?
She's absolutely gorgeous, and she's exactly who I thought would write a book like that in the
Uh
best way
huh.
possible. Like, that perfect balance between warmth and comedy and also heart, and, just not shying away from, the tough stuff, the tough conversations. I thought she got that
Yeah.
so right, both in the book and in the conversation.
100%. And you can tell as well, like with how she was speaking about it, what place it's coming from. It's like with the best of intentions, and like it just worked so well. And the funny was so funny that the like emotional was so emotional.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
just worked from start to end. Like I remember the first bit with where she sat at the table, and I just knew I was like, oh, I'm gonna absolutely laugh my head off at this book. But
Yeah.
what I didn't expect was the emotion that really like got me at the back of the legs, and I was like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
down, I'm down.
I fully agree with that, and I really, really mean that. She could have kept it there, and she didn't.
Hmm.
She went somewhere else, and and I know this is one of your favorite things, but she really subverted a lot of the tropes and our
Yeah,
expectations as well, and she did it brilliantly. So it really is a book worth reading, everyone.
it
Thank you,
is.
everybody who's been in the chat and who's joined us. Yay! And it's so great. It looks great as well. The design is brilliant as well.
Does it's
So
genius.
yeah, very, very clever. I love that. So thank you everybody once more. Like, we just appreciate you turning up every week. It really means
We
the
do.
world. Thank you for all your comments. We read them. We try sometimes to try and include them in the chat, but we appreciate the comments and the conversation going on, whether we get to do that or not. So thank you. And
And we
please
see
join
you.
us. We see you. We really do. And we thank you for seeing us.
Yeah,
And we're back again next week with yet another brilliant guest. So please stay tuned, same time
yeah.
next week. And have a great week, everybody.
Have a great week, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.